So what is up YouTube? In today's video we're going to be looking at some big Nio news. So the first big news actually has to do with the Xpeng. So Xpeng actually recently got the green light to go public on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Now this is known as a dual listing, as both investors in China and in America can buy Xpeng stock. Now there are actually many companies that are both present on the New York Stock Exchange and the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, like companies like Alibaba and JD.com. Now what companies like Alibaba and JD.com did is their listing on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange was known as a secondary listing. And now a secondary listing is when a company already has a main listing location, which is the United States in both these cases, and it then sells shares on another exchange. Now in these secondary listings, they're not actually subject to that particular stock exchange's regulators and rules. Now the investors in these countries can actually invest in that company because they're not being regulated, and this is what Xpeng is doing differently. They're actually doing a dual primary listing, so they are subject to both US and Hong Kong regulators. Now the good news about these dual primary listings is now that Chinese investors can also invest in Xpeng, so when there's more demand for a stock than usual, then the stock price goes up. So if there are a lot of Chinese investors interested in the stock, then Xpeng stock will go up. Now in this listing in Hong Kong, Xpeng is planning to release another 85 million shares, where they plan on raising about $1 to $2 billion, so I do believe this offering is dilutive. And another thing is the share price on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange and the New York Stock Exchange have to be the same after all the exchange rates. And also another thing is that the stock will basically be trading all the time because New York timings and Hong Kong timings are very different. So once it closes on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, it'll reopen in the New York Stock Exchange. So essentially the stock will be trading 24/7. So now the reason why I bring up Xpeng is because it looks like Nio will be doing the same thing. Now the advantages of doing a dual primary listing is that now Nio can raise money a lot easier and there's way more liquidity, and this is because there's a larger pool of investors to invest into this company. And also once it does go on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, it will be trading basically all the time, and so Nio might be able to release $2 billion, which will be used for their battery swap stations, and they're also spending a lot on R&D. So gaining more capital at this stage is good, even though Nio already has a good amount of cash. However, I do believe this offering is dilutive, which isn't good for shareholders because now we do own less of the company. However, the automobile industry in general is capital intensive, and plus Nio plans on spending a lot on research and development because of autonomous technologies and battery as a service. So obviously them going onto the Hong Kong Stock Exchange is good news, and it may actually push the share price in the short term. So now let's talk about the next big news. So Mobileye is a leader in autonomous technologies, and they're owned by Intel. So once upon a time, Mobileye had a partnership with Tesla to develop their autonomous technologies in their cars and to develop robotaxis together. But now Mobileye is in a partnership with Nio, where both these companies will try to develop robotaxis, and so Nio's car actually entered in Israel, where Mobileye will develop its software in the car and then they'll do trials for their robotaxis. Now this is great news because one of the reasons I actually invested in Nio is because of robotaxis. Now I know that Nio won't be a leader in robotaxis, I think Tesla will, but I think Nio can become a player, and them having a partnership with Mobileye and already testing out for robotaxis I think is huge because robotaxis is extremely profitable. Tesla estimated that they will make a profit of $30,000 per vehicle that is used for robotaxis. So if Nio becomes a big player in this space, they can make a lot of money. Now Nio's autonomous technologies is why Nio is my second favorite EV stock over Li Auto and Xpeng, because I do think Nio is number 2 when it comes to autonomous technologies, and them partnering up with Mobileye makes them even more competitive with Tesla. So essentially this partnership is where some of the autonomous technology will come from Nio, and it will be a Nio car, and then Mobileye will also update its software on the Nio cars, and then they'll start trials for their robotaxis to test whether it's safe for people to actually use, and once the tests are successful, then they'll start rolling out their own robotaxis. And the initial timeline was 2021 to 2022, but I do think it might be end of 2022 or 2023. But once the robotaxis start rolling out, I do believe that Nio will have massive profits. Now one thing I do want to add is that ARK Invest is actually very bullish on robotaxis, and they believe it could add close to $1 trillion in market cap to Tesla. Now this $1 trillion is assuming that Tesla rolls out 5 million robotaxis. Now I don't think Nio will be able to roll out 5 million robotaxis because their scale is a lot less, but I do believe Nio can be the number 2 2 or number 3 player in robotaxis. And if Nio is successful, then this can easily add $100 billion in market cap to the company. Now, whether it's successful or not, we're just gonna have to wait and see, because there are a lot of variables like government regulations, whether the technology is actually available for robotaxis, and whether people are willing to adopt to it. But I do think robotaxis will be successful. Just how successful is what we're just gonna have to wait and watch. But overall, I'm very happy that Nio is making development in this area. So now let's talk about the next big Nio news. So this news is that Nio is actually holding an event called Nio Power on July 9th. Now keep in mind, this isn't the same as Nio Day. Nio Day is where they cover all the news, like their new cars, autonomous technologies, and everything else. But Nio Power is where they specifically look at that segment of the business. I believe on Nio Power Day, they're just going to be talking about their EV infrastructure, their battery technology, and what other products they're planning to release on this part of the segment. And I hope they also talk about their Sinopec deal and their Ford deal. So essentially, Nio Power consists of charging posts, supercharging posts, battery swap stations, mobile charging cars, Nio Cloud, and Nio Service staff. And they're just going to be giving an update on this segment on July 9th. And this is called Nio Power Day. And keep in mind, this isn't the same as Nio Day. Now, this event may push up Nio stock, because Nio Day actually pushed up the stock all the way up to $60. And maybe Nio Power Day will have the same effect. Personally, I don't think it will, because it's not as big as Nio Day. But I'm just very interested to see what type of developments they give, and I really want to hear about their Sinopec and their Ford deal. So to sum it up, I'm happy to see that Nio is going on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, just because they could raise money a lot easier, and I'm happy to see developments in their robotaxis and their autonomous technologies. And now when it comes to Nio Power Day, I'm just gonna have to wait and see what actually happens, because I do believe this is their first Nio Power Day. Now when it comes to the stock has been doing extremely well over the past 2 weeks, and that's just because a lot of growth stocks have been doing well, and part of that has to do with the fact that Fed said they won't be raising interest rates anytime soon, and a lot of money has been entering growth stocks. Now with that being said, personally, I'm not buying Nio stock, because I do believe it is overpriced at a price to sales of 20, and like I said before, I only plan on buying the stock in the low 30s. Now with that being said, I'm still very bullish on Nio stock. So this was just a quick Nio update video. If you guys did enjoy the video, please do leave a like and subscribe. Also comment down below what videos you'd like to see, and thank you for watching.